Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about something. I know I've discussed this before. I think I did a video probably maybe a couple years ago about just knowing when to call it, knowing when to say when. For example, knowing when to sort of listen to your body and not do a certain activity or not push yourself too much. And I think I talked about that with respect to the activities that I still do, which is kind of like, I go for walks and, I do have certain physical activities that I do maintain in order to kind of stay feeling okay. But today I kind of wanted to talk about the mental side of that because, you know, I feel like I've kind of mastered not mastered, but I'm a lot better about the physical limitations and sort of being careful, with my body and not overexerting myself. But I'm starting to see that now there is a mental component to that. So I want to give you today's example. This is actually why I'm doing this video because I was going to do something today and I couldn't do it. And so I thought, I need to fill my time with something else, right? So on the weekends, I go to swap meets, which is like an outdoor flea market. I do a lot of thrifting or just general shopping for stuff that I need or that I don't need. Um, and that typically just happens on the weekend. They don't really do swap meets during the week out here in Southern California. It's usually like a Saturday, like Friday night, Saturday, Sunday type of situation. So I always look forward to the weekends and doing that. During the pandemic, all of that was closed down. So I actually did go like a whole year without doing that. So now that things have opened back up, I've been, taking advantage of it and going back. Of course, I wear like an N95 mask and I protect myself. But one of the frustrating things, because some of the swap meets have opened back up, some still haven't. But I think people are looking for outdoor activities, so they've become really, really busy. They were busy before, anyways, but I feel like now there's like, I think it's more of a draw for people because it's an outdoor activity. You can shop and not be too concerned about being in close quarters with other people. And Sunday in particular, today is Sunday. Sunday in particular is like such a busy day for these outdoor flea markets. So I went today, and one of the big issues is not, is finding parking. These are usually done at college campuses and that kind of thing. So there's plenty of parking, but it gets packed. Um, and I have learned to sort of take the day off if it's hot because I would go out to these swap meets even if it was hot. I'm very heat intolerant, but I would kind of just like push through because I wanted something to do on the weekend. I didn't want to be stuck inside the house. But I've learned to sort of tell myself, hey, that's probably not good. You're probably going to make yourself sick if you keep doing that. So, try to take it easy. But there's a mental side to that. And it's happened to me a few times where I go and I'm just driving around the parking lot looking for parking, going around in circles, and I just can't find anything. And I just keep doing it for sometimes up to a half hour until I can find a parking spot. And at that point, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I have to go to the bathroom, I still need to go to the ATM and get money. And at the end of it, I'm like, what am I even here for? Is there anything that I really need that badly that I'm willing to drive around for 30 minutes looking for a parking spot? Um, and so I end up becoming like kind of agitated and angry, and I can't even enjoy myself. And that actually happened when I went back to the swap meet after being off the whole year of the pandemic. And it was really weird because I enjoyed the swap meet so, so much. It was just like my weekend outing and just having a good time. And it was surprising that after a whole year of not, like, literally barely leaving the house, I hated it. I hated that first trip back to the swap meet. I absolutely hated. And I was like, why was I even doing this in the first place? It's so unpleasant. It's not fun. Um, but I think a lot of that was just it was mental. Um, the other thing that I do is that I go there with a purpose to find things to thrift, right? Things to resell. And mentally I have to do the same thing that I've been doing physically, which is knowing when to call it and knowing when to say, okay, I can't find parking. I'm going home, which is what I did today. I think after 20 minutes, I was like, you know what? What do I need? I don't need anything that desperately that I'm going to be driving around here for 30, 40 minutes looking for a parking spot. So I just called it and said, I'm going to go home. The other thing that I also am trying to learn, when I actually do get into the swap meet is I don't need to be thrifting. I'm financially in a decent place where I don't need any little extra bit of cash on the side. Like I'm okay right now. It's almost like this built-in financial anxiety, and I know a lot of us have that. A lot of chronically ill people that are on a fixed income. Um, we have that financial anxiety, and I actually have not been too bad the last couple of years. I'm stable and I'm okay. So one thing that I've been trying to do is just go and maybe look for stuff that I want, or just browse, just go walk casually and just take it all in and just look at things, browse around, and not be there with this purpose of I have to find things to sell and I have to, you know, because that I've also noticed that frustrates me, and that's what happened when I first went back after the pandemic or after 2020 was that I went there with this purpose of restocking, the things that I was going to sell because I had sold quite a few things during the pandemic, all of my stock. And I was like, why? What purpose, is that serving? Like, do I really need to put that kind of pressure on myself right now? Or can I just go and look and browse around and maybe find something for myself? Um, so those are a couple of things mentally that I'm trying to learn to let go. Um, and that's one example. The other example, I've talked about this recently in some of my videos, is social media and knowing when to just back away from a fight, from an argument. Um, I've talked about a couple of incidents that I had I think on Twitter. It's always Twitter. And that really, it left an impact on me because the incidents happened and I don't want to say incidents. It's just people getting angry at, you know, over something that really just exists in their head. And being very vicious, it took all of the fun of social media. I mean, social media really isn't fun anymore. And I noticed that I had a very like visceral reaction to it where I didn't want to go back on Twitter. Like just looking at the app, I was like, I don't want to be on here anymore. I don't want to be interacting with people because there's always that risk that somebody is just going to take it the wrong way and start coming at you with this anger and hatred over a perceived slight, in their mind. Um and so I think that's kind of where I need to put my focus now is learning to um mentally care for myself and know when to call it. I've learned that when it comes to my body, if it's a hot day, I can say, look, I'm not going out to the swap meet or I'm not going out for my walk because it's too hot, and I need to learn to just not put myself in a physically stressful situation. Now I have to learn to do that mentally. I need to learn to not put myself in a mentally stressful situation. And I'm starting to see that. Like I started to block a lot of people on Twitter, people that I felt could potentially um, be confrontational. I've learned to just unfollow people. Um, I was originally on Twitter. I've been on Twitter for a very long time, but only recently in the last few years started picking up the habit because of politics and things that were going on in the world. And it really is just, I'm not a bury my head in the sand kind of person, but it just isn't worth it anymore. To go in there and risk saying one wrong word and having people come at me with, hatred and anger. And it's like, well, over what? Like, and you're not doing anything on the internet. You're just getting angry. You're not advocating for anything. You're not an activist. You're just on the internet. That's one thing that I've learned, is that I'm not making any real change by being on Twitter. I'm just there for the drama, I guess. And so I'm having to learn to pay more attention to the mental strain that a lot of these activities, not just social media, but something as simple as going to the swap meet, looking for parking, even going to the doctors. This is actually a pretty prime example. I double booked 2 appointments. Actually, this week I double booked my therapist and my immunologist, and I've been going through some really weird mental health issues. I'm not going to get too far into it because it's kind of weird. Maybe I'll talk about it someday, but the last few weeks have been mentally really, really challenging. And I realized I had double booked my therapist and my immunologist. And I was like, you know what? I need to see my therapist. Like, I have a standing appointment with her anyways. I need to see her. My immunologist can wait. I already saw my blood work. It's nothing special, like same old stuff. I can always postpone the immunologist. It's not a big deal. I need to speak to my therapist. And so I canceled my immunologist, and, I saw my therapist, and I did need it. I really needed it. And, it was quite a session. But that's what I'm saying, that I need to start learning to prioritize that, because it's becoming a bigger issue. And it's also becoming a motivating factor for me to look for alternative treatments, because, mentally, physically, yeah, I have these issues, food sensitivities, digestive problems, neurological issues. But mentally, I am starting to see that strain, whether it's from my illness or just from the general stress of being at home, not doing anything, not having anything else to focus on. And I think I need to make that a bigger focus. I don't think Twitter and social media has really helped that whole situation. I'm starting to wonder if it's been a trigger for all of this stuff, because a lot of things happened at the same time, this mental health thing, and then all the Twitter drama and all of that. So even though they're unrelated, they feel unrelated to me. I'm wondering if the stress of one sort of contributed to this whole new situation. So I think that needs to be my focus. And I think a lot of times, because we're chronically ill and physical pain is so much harder to ignore, oftentimes, than mental pain. We tend to put the mental stuff in the back burner. And I also have seen that, I think I talked about this in another video. There were a couple of ladies that I followed on Twitter that also had similar medical issues to myself. And, obviously it's the internet, but I feel like I've seen a serious mental decline in those two women. We used to follow each other, and we related a lot with a lot of the things that, our physical ailments. But once the pandemic hit, our roads split. And these two ladies dove into conspiracy theories and just a lot of nonsense. And to me, I started to see that, and I was like, these ladies are mentally declining. Yes, they have a physical condition. Yes, they are very physically ill, but they're mentally not doing well. And I can see that. I could see the slow transition, the things that they used to discuss on social media, and then now this weird turn. And I actually have seen that, we've seen that with a lot of people, that they've taken a turn into this weird mental headspace. And I think I'm kind of uh, now going through something similar, except I'm not diving into conspiracy theories. It's kind of manifesting in a little bit different way, but it is mental health. And so, I think I have to start paying attention to that and really start implementing a lot of these interventions, just not pushing myself to do anything. If something is frustrating me, let it go. It can wait another day. I can wait until next weekend to go to the swap meet. Do I need to be on Twitter arguing? What if I just want to be on Twitter and looking at funny things? Sometimes I feel this sort of guilt, like I'm burying my head in the sand because I just want to look at funny stuff or cute stuff and not look at the political things and the important things that are going on in the world. And it's like, well, why? If it's taking this type of toll on me, why should I feel bad about that? So, anyways, that's what I have for you guys today. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys have implemented to help your own mental health, especially in the last couple of years, and how you cope with your medical issues and your mental health. It's a tough one. This is a really tough one um, to master, because if you are disabled, like fully disabled, and you're stuck at home, you really don't have anything else. I mean, we have our daily maintenance of our bodies, but as far as communicating with other people and connecting, social media is a big one, and it's not a very good one either. I feel like it's unhealthy on so many levels. But anyways, like and subscribe. I hope to be here with more videos very soon. I'm trying to kind of like backlog these videos so I can have stuff coming for you guys regularly. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys again soon.